Greetings, my dear subscribers. As my 100 subscriber special, I have decided to start a new series of something completely different, namely Dwarf Fortress. This will be a special Let's Play series in the sense that I'm completely new to that game. I guess that's something you call blind LP. I have never played that game before. But I'm not completely ignorant about it. Here is what I know. Dwarf Fortress has no graphics. It uses the ASCII character set to display things. And it has two playing modes. One mode is the fortress building mode, where you start with 7 dwarves somewhere in a world randomly generated, and you have to find a place to settle and survive in the wilderness, preferably build a fortress to stand the attacks of enemies, do some trade with other folks, attract migrants, and let your dwarves reproduce and build a great city for a great nation. The second mode is adventure mode, where you play one dwarf in a roguelike game, which is situated in the world generated for the fortress building, and you can explore abandoned fortresses, recover their background histories, at least that's what I understood from what I have read. Yes, and just see the whole world from a one-man perspective. So I will be playing the fortress building mode because that's what I'm interested in, and I will play the most current version at this date, which is 0.31.12. I have no experience with this version or any other version, but for those who are really interested in my background knowledge of Dwarf Fortress, I will now refer to all the stuff I have seen or read. I have seen game footage of the adventure mode by Jeff Major, one video or so. Then I have seen all 12 videos of his 2010 Dwarf Fortress gameplay or Let's Play, but I have not watched them that closely. I soon realized I don't actually know what's going on here, but I knew that I like it already. I have seen how his fortress has been built in different height levels, and he mentioned that one should be careful not to dig too deep, because in the deep caverns one can encounter horrible creatures like trolls, and I guess possibly demons or something like that. And if you dig, there are 2 other dangers. There can be magma. If you dig to the core of the world, there is magma, and it's deadly fluid. Or you can find a water chamber, water under pressure, which then starts to flood your fortress, and that can be fatal. Well, and then I saw a trick that Jeff Major built a canal from the river into his fortress so that he can fish in his fortress in safety, and he doesn't have to send his dwarves outdoors, out to the wilderness, to the river to fish there. So that was a good idea, I think. Well, then I have read an interview with the developer of the game, and that is where I got really enthusiastic about it. The way when I saw how the how the world is randomly generated, what complicated algorithms he uses for, or models, it's not what models he uses for fluids and the world shaping. The world is being generated with I think 1,000 years of history, where you observe how cities arise, civilizations grow and fall, build roads and stuff. So this is wonderful. I would be playing the game if it would be just observing a model of world where folks live and land is shaped by them. Well, and the next thing I read or saw was a tutorial of Captain Duck. I have watched the first video of his Dwarf Fortress 2008 version, for the old version, and I don't know what of it is still applicable for the Dwarf Fortress 2010 version I'm going to play. But that tutorial video was about finding a suitable place to start a fortress. There I have learned that it is essential to be near water. You need water to survive, and when some animals are around in the woods, they serve as good supply of food. You can hunt them and eat them. Then he said that if you start on a location with sand, you have an advantage, because you can produce glass and obviously learn some of your dwarves to be skilled craftsmen with glass and trade probably some glass products. And another thing which is good to have is some kind of more precious stone, limestone or something good for trade, or maybe also for crafting. At least that's my impression which I had from the tutorial. So that's all I know. I have kind of an idea where to start or which location to find for starting a fortress, and I've seen that the game can find it for you. If you can let search for such a location, you don't have to check every square of the world. Well, and that's it basically. So without further ado, just start playing in the next part. I'm looking forward to it.